Wes McDonald here with Kenneth Edmonds, and we are on day 10 of the 10-day challenge. I can hardly believe that after today, this challenge is actually in the books.
Yep, it will be over, and it's coming way too fast.
Yeah, and of course, we'll tell people the flat rate journey is never over, but first, a special thanks to everybody that has joined us for these 10 days. We've shared a lot of information. We've had some incredible feedback from people that have been part of this journey with us so far. And that's really what it's all about, is making sure that we can do our part to kind of help this channel and this industry move forward. Right, Ken?
Absolutely. Our goal is to help dealers. And obviously, we're available to help if you need more than what we provide during this event. But our goal is to get dealers to thinking about how they can transform their businesses and secure their futures, because, and you've alluded to this several times, but our strong belief, based on our decades of experience in the industry, is that dealers that don't adopt some form of this kind of program are at risk. And we don't want any of the people we know in this industry that we care about to wind up missing the boat, so to speak.
Yeah, and we're certainly not alone. I keep seeing things every day. I was actually watching a bit of a video from the Canada group, and Mr. Canada likes to share a lot of interesting things about his view on the industry, and he's been around for a long time. I mean, Frank has been part of this space for, probably before I was born. And, the comment was put back about somebody being optimistic about pages coming back. And he said being optimistic about all the pages coming back is like going into the Mojave Desert for a 10-day hike without any water, right? Like it's foolish. So
I love that analogy.
Yeah. So, who knows when something like a pandemic is going to come along again, hopefully not. But life is full of disruption. And I think what we're clearly seeing now with so much interest in this flat rate model is that people want to be prepared for the next time, right? And any of the, the dealers that we've had the pleasure to work with that have already had their flat rate models in place, they've been doing just fine, right? Did not see the same kind of, harrowing decreases in numbers and everything else, right?
The pandemic didn't really impact them. If it did anything for them, it actually made them more profitable. And the dealers that were on a cost per copy basis, I don't know any of them that can say that.
No. And the good news is flat rate has arrived, right? So although we said today is the last day of the 10-day challenge, of course, it's not the last day of, flat rate. So Ken and I are both really excited to let you know we're going to take a break next week. We need it. Doesn't seem like a lot just being online an hour a day every day, but it's all the preparation and the work that goes into that and everything else. And of course, following up with the dealers that have been involved. We've got some pretty full plates. So we're going to start again on Wednesday, May 12th at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So book your calendars. Make sure you got it locked off. It will be live every Wednesday. And we'll be talking about all of the pertinent topics that are coming up in the flat rate world. Some of it will be related to what we're doing in the Office Equipment channel. We're going to look at some inspiration from other channels as well. We'll have some exciting guests, to be able to come in and share their experience. So I'm really thrilled about this.
We may even have the bad joke of the day. We got to think about that.
Yeah. We can slot that in there for you, Ken. Yeah. We can
okay, now, how come you pointed your finger right smack at me?
Hey, and as we said, post your questions and comments. I can see a couple of them coming in, and a great way to get warmed up for this. And actually, there's a bigger reason for posting your comments today, and I'll get that to that in a second. But the one thing that I do want to show, just let me hide my screen so I don't give away any thunder for something else that's coming up a little bit later, because I've been known to do that. All right, let's go back. So this event is global. I mean, you look at this map, we have people from all over the world. And start warming up your contributions, start letting us know where you are from. We've got registered attendees from the US, Canada, Norway, the UK, France, Spain, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Australia, South Africa. I don't know if we do another 10-day challenge, Ken, we're going to have to really work hard to try and get Antarctica on the list. I know that's a hard one. But South America and Central America should be fairly easy, right?
Yeah, we'll have to work on that. Maybe we'll have to practice my Spanish a little bit.
Hey, look, and welcome to the program, Dwayne. We got Dwayne in from Seattle, Washington, and looks like Jer is going to be here. He's not telling us where he is, but he's taking a little jab at me again, which is awesome. Gonna miss out on the Hawaiian shirts after this, laugh out loud. Well, the good news is, Jer, like I said, we're going to continue doing a weekly sort of session, a live stream, and I will find some additional shirts for you to have a chuckle with. And it looks like we got repping from Greenville, North Carolina. So, repping. Repping's not actually your name. It's Richie. I see how that works. Hey, Richie, good to see you again. So for anyone else, just keep posting your comments. And as we say, I won't give away the thunder, but something special is happening today. And once we, get into that, I'll share a little bit more about you want to make sure that those fingers, make sure you get them stretched out and ready, that they are ready to comment, because it's going to be very important. As we've talked about, Ken, we could not do this challenge without the generosity of everyone that's come in to sponsor, right? And
Absolutely.
we did this specifically. We weren't just looking for money. I mean, that was obviously important to help us fund this, but we were trying to find sponsors that had something to offer dealers in their flat rate journey. And every day that we've done a challenge, we've brought someone in specifically, related to that topic, right? And of course, today, one of the things that we're going to be diving into pretty deeply is this idea of converged services, right? And Ken, we've spoken about this so much that honestly, if you're not looking at it, adding additional services in the future, I think after today's session, we're going to probably change your mind. So it's more than just about doing something other than managed print. It has to do with the way that the world is changing, the kinds of things that people need, right? There was a time when people needed a fax machine, standalone, or they needed a typewriter before that, where they needed a pen and paper, right? And the way that we communicate and the way that people work in the office, it continues to change, right? And we've also got a fantastic guest on here today who's actually gone through this and done this, so we'll share that with you. So Ken, you know what's going to happen now?
Bye-bye, everybody. I'll see you in a little while.
Okay, here we go with my magic button, and Ken is gone. How you doing, Johnson?
Man, I'm 6 foot above. Can't complain. How about you?
Well, it's Friday, right? So, how can we complain? Last day of the challenge. It's Friday. Nothing could be better. And listen, I want to thank you, first of all, for stepping up to the plate and sponsoring this, because the dealers who are enjoying this content for free without your help, without the things that you do, they wouldn't be able to have that for free. So really, really appreciate you helping them to get that.
You betcha, man. You betcha.
Hey, Johnson, most people out there in the office equipment channel are typically just doing copiers and printers. And we're seeing an evolution of a lot more of them starting to look at other services. And that's clearly the topic we're going to talk about today. And I was super stoked to talk to you and find out what you and the 20 do to help people to do that. So maybe just take a couple of minutes and share with our audience how the 20 can help them out as they start to look at adding services to their portfolio.
Yeah, absolutely. So if I can give you the one sentence of the 20, we're essentially a group that enables any copier dealer looking to get into the IT space, every tool, every tech, every department, like a help desk, like a projects team, all from one place. So if you were to think about getting into IT today, or if there was a couple of you guys already stepping your toes into the IT space, you're probably doing the piecemeal way, right? Where you're going to a trade show, shopping vendors, bringing 10 of them home and trying to grow this IT practice. What if I told you there's one place that you could essentially get everything from? I'm talking your help desk, your projects team, all your tools, all your tech, everything you can think of. If you spend the next 10 years in the IT space, you can get it from one place, and it's the 20.
There. Well, that's great. And, when people are looking to get in touch with you, what's the website? How do they get to you?
Yeah, the20.com. THE20.com. Pretty simple.
Doesn't get any easier than that. It's funny. I had Tiger Paw on yesterday as a sponsor, and there's just tigerpaw.com, right? So definitely the 20.com wins for simplicity. So make sure that as you're watching this, you can multitask. You can have two screens up at the same time. Get out there and check out their website. And Johnson, maybe share with me, just if you can, more specifically for office equipment dealers that are looking, to diversify. Do you have any experience for them or any advice for them from, things that you've done in the past or people you've helped in the past?
Yeah, I think a couple things, right? I think, when you get into the IT space, realize that, if you're in the copier business, you're going to put a lot of your copier business on the line, right? You're going to go farm that base and offer them IT. So I always tell people kind of do it right? Like do IT right, because you got one shot, and I've seen a lot of people in the copier space lose their shirts because they go about it the wrong way, right? They sell IT like they've been selling copiers for 20 years. Don't do it that way, right? Even if you give me a buzz and ask me some quick tips, I'll share it with you, no problem. But just like I said, if you're looking to get into the space, what do we say? Measure twice, cut once. And so just make sure you do that before you get to the IT space.
Yeah, and make sure you get Johnson to be able to come in and help. So Johnson, really excited. I know that we'll be doing a lot more things together as we work towards this converged services market. It's very near and dear to my heart to get dealers moving beyond managed print. So I really look forward to working you on that as we move into the future.
Cool.
And thanks for everything you've done. And again, everyone, this would not be free if it wasn't for, fine people like Johnson and the other people at the 20. So make sure you thank them. All right. So let's see if I can find Ken. Oh, maybe I'll put you back. Yeah, they're phenomenal. But I think of, what he said there with, the main mistake that people make is that they try and treat it like the same business, and it's not, right? So fortunately, we've actually got a dealer who will be coming in a bit later who's actually gone through exactly what Johnson has talked about, and we'll share some of those insights. And it looks like people are warming up their comment fingers. So let's see here. Oh, I see. You're actually making fun of me. Here's what Kenneth said. He's having way too much fun putting me in the green room. Yeah, it is a bit of a thing with me. And it looks like, Sarah, we want to welcome you from Richmond, Virginia. Thank you very much for being here on the challenge. And here we go. We said it was a global event. And Norman, welcome. So in Norway, we have started the weekend already. Oh, wow. Now that's dedication. Can you believe that, Ken? So it's 8:00 on a Friday night. I'm not sure even as the host if I would be in here if I'd booked it. Hey, so Norman, thank you very much for for joining the challenge and attending. Hey, another Canadian, eh? Linda's back in from Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. So I have a niece who lives in Hamilton. That's not very far from me. And just a little bit of trivia there. There's a place called Monster Donuts. And if you're ever in Hamilton and you want to have the best donut of your life, that's where you got to go. So Linda, good to have you in here. And make sure you have a donut for me because of current conditions. I haven't been there in a while. All right. So keep posting your comments, folks. Make sure that you get them in there. And again, warm up your fingers because like I said, it is going to be important for you to do that soon. All right. So one of the things I want to do, go ahead, Ken.
Hold on. I want to comment on something Johnson said because he said you're supposed to measure twice and cut once. And I always thought that I typically cut it 3 times and it's still too short.
Yeah, I'm telling you, you got to be the same carpenter I am, right? Because I'm in exactly the same boat. I always measure twice and somehow, and it's incredible how some people have that talent, right? I know my wife's brother was a phenomenal carpenter. Like, first time he did anything, there wasn't a millimeter gap in anything, right? But nobody's certainly going to get that from me. So speaking of measuring twice anyway, one of the things that we're going to do today is sort of measure this opportunity that's ahead for dealers, right? So I'm just going to pop our screen up here a little bit bigger. Some of the measurements, when you look at the size of these markets, this is a project I actually worked on for Tiger Paw Software. So thank you very much for letting me use this today. First understanding what the market opportunity is and then looking at what the growth rates are is kind of important, right? And what's really interesting on this chart, I'm going to actually put it full size, Ken, for everyone. I'm just going to hide the banner for a bit as I speak to this one because it's important information. Let's see here. Get rid of that. Get rid of the banner. And let's go to full screen. There we go. When we look at the different market sizes, when we think of converged services, there's a lot of different options. And I'm not here to say which one's right or wrong, but at least as business owners, understanding what the market looks like and what, these different areas look like, you can make some, stronger decisions, right? And take a close look at the bottom there, where managed print is, right? It is literally the smallest piece of the pie. So, we make a lot of money in that space. So, sometimes I think we fool ourselves into thinking that, it's going to be too hard to add some incremental revenue. But the truth is, these other areas, particularly if you look at, something like cloud computing, is absolutely massive. Audio, video, unified communications, managed network services, security and alarm, cybersecurity. These are all great opportunities. And you can see just how big those market segments are. The other important thing, I think, and Johnson kind of spoke to this when he was saying about starting off on the wrong foot, it is a different world in each and every one of these, right? So I've had some pretty good exposure over the last few years working with Tiger Paw Software on working and meeting with a lot of different providers in each of these areas. And they all have a different approach to, kind of their business, right? But even in their world, if you talk to somebody that was in audio video, they are now doing network services and cybersecurity, right? They're doing converged services as much as we are. But look at the numbers on the left-hand side there, because I think they tell us a lot about our opportunity here, right? So $3.8 million is the average size of an MSP in annual revenue. And I'm not trying to be insulting to any MSPs, because I know that we do have some that are in the challenge as well. But that is a lot smaller than the average size managed print provider, office equipment dealer, right? We are much bigger. We have much deeper pockets to be able to, go through this experimentation, right? And I can tell you, and maybe it's just because I haven't, integrated myself deeply enough into the managed IT world, but they're not prepared to go after managed print yet. So in our case, where we are prepared to go after these other services, where we have the deep pockets, we have partners like the 20 to be able to do this, that there's a massive opportunity there. We're bigger than the traditional players in the spaces. We have sales acumen beyond belief. We're good at selling. And the other parts, which I'm not saying aren't hard, learning how to provide those services and to get the right people in place to do that. Again, we have deep pockets. We've made big changes before. We can do it again. And the average number of technicians per MSP is 10 or less. So from a person perspective as well, most of the dealers I work with, the size of the service teams, are actually generally bigger than that. So we have a great opportunity there to get in there and look at that, right? And, Ken, it's really interesting when you think, when I did this research, I knew that the office equipment channel was smaller, but I had no idea, just what a difference there was in some of these other channels, right? And some of these other services. Just incredible.
I agree. And it's interesting that if you look at the websites of all the major players, you look at Novatech, Marco, Dex, you look at Pacific Office Automation, all of these major players in the industry are in converged services.
So is our guest today. Jeff Bendix has been doing it for years.
Yeah, you look at the manufacturers, there's a reason that they're all moving into providing other things than just the boxes. So it really is, you could say, is the handwriting on the wall. When everybody around you is going in a direction and they're going away from where you're standing as a standalone dealer, it might be a time to think about where you're standing.
I would think so. Hey, look, we got another person, Ron McClintock from Greenville, North Carolina. And if I'm not mistaken, that's two we have from Greenville today. So
yeah,
it looks
they're
like
both from Copy Pro.
Well, that's good. I was going to say, if they were competitors, it might get them heated up a little bit faster to get their flat rate program off the ground. But they're working together. They're both here, so obviously super heated up, which is great. So that's the market size. The next thing I want to do is share where the growth opportunities, right? Because we all know there's a lot of markets which look quite large in size, but perhaps they're not growing the way that they used to, right? Managed print, anybody? So I'm just going to move into the additional numbers here. 1 second as I pull up the slide. All right. Growth rates, kind of important. And now when we look at this chart, you can see exactly how things are growing in each of those areas. And what's really cool is that this unified communications and telephony and VoIP are growing extremely quickly. And cloud computing is, again, another large part of that pie. They're almost equal in the amount that they're growing. So cloud edges out unified communications a bit. Managed print still healthy. Look at that. So although we're in a smaller market size, we're still showing 10.3% growth. Audio video slowed down. Security and alarm is still quite strong, double digits, as is cybersecurity, right? So for any of these areas, now you've got a good glimpse at least of what some of the growth rates look like as well. Because again, I'd probably be a little more hesitant going into areas where it's a much slower growth rate, and looking at some of these ones with larger growth rates, might be a bit more of an opportunity, right? And isn't that amazing, Ken? And you talk to anybody that's been doing technology services, that they have actually grown through the pandemic, right? Because those changing needs in the offices, people working out of remote locations, the different kinds of security needs that are out there, the different kinds of network needs that are there. And as we had on the one day when we had our communications provider, they were talking about the fact that they've had this huge opportunity now, even with VoIP, right? On just on people's cell phones, they're delivering it so much differently now. So yeah, just really incredible.
Yeah, and you think about the dealers that were positioned in managed technology, that were able to do it all. When somebody needed to go to a home office, they could, in effect, make their home desktop just like their work desktop with their work phone number, everything just absolutely instantaneous and transparent for the customer. And perhaps they needed another device to print on. And of course, obviously in our space, we can take care of that really easily. But the end result is that you had the tool set your customers needed, and you had the ability to profit, again, as you mentioned, growth and revenue from what happened.
Yes, absolutely. And hey, listen, for anybody that wants a copy of this guide, it's fantastic. Like I said, I built it for Tiger Paw. It has a whole bunch of other things within the guide, which I won't get into today. It has expert tips. It has actual people that will give you advice that have moved into each of these different areas. There's a ton of good stuff in that guide. So if you want to get it, get in touch with me, or you can just visit tigerpaw.com. Ask to get a copy of that from them directly. Either way, we'd be happy to make sure you get that. But I certainly believe that when you look at those opportunity sizes, that not going after converged services, I think is a mistake. And we've talked about that through this too, right, Ken? That anytime someone said to me, I just want to be a pure play managed print provider, is flat rate good for me? I'm like, well, I don't know. Probably not. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not the right option. I can't tell you what to do with your business, but if it was me and I was making the effort to disrupt my business and my processes and the things that I do, that I'd probably want to start looking at some additional services, right?
Exactly. My thought is dealers that are not really interested in it, maybe they should be looking for a buyer.
Yeah, that's possible too, right? And that's not a wrong answer. I've worked with a lot of great dealers over the years who have done just that, to their benefit and to the benefit of the people that have bought them, right? So, but certainly if you're investing in flat rate, if you're taking this journey, that at least consider these converged services offerings, right?
Yeah.
I always love to say no after I've dived deep and learned. So, and to have a snap judgment of just saying, no, that's not for us, I think that's the wrong answer for a lot of reasons. But number two, it's because I haven't done the homework. I haven't looked at the numbers. I haven't expected that, like any new business initiative, that it's going to take time, that it's not going to happen overnight, right? And so the good news is you don't have to listen to me blather on about converged services today. We have a great guest. He was in yesterday, Jeff Bendix. And I've called this point Making the Leap, because I know for Jeff, this obviously wasn't an easy decision when he started it either, when he decided to move over. So Ken, you know what that means? I'm going to put you back in the green room for a little bit, and I'm going to bring Jeff Bendix in to speak with our guests. Bye-bye. What's going on, Jeff?
Sorry, Ken, I did it to you again. 2 days in a row.
Day two. All right. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. And it was so hard for me yesterday not to ask you more questions, right? Because I knew we were coming to this today. And what I really, wanted to talk to you about is that there is this hesitancy, if you will, from a lot of dealers that are just terrified, or it's, I tried it once, it won't work. I've talked to other dealers, they were burned. It's not for us. It's too different, etc. So give us a little background, first on what your business was before, and then maybe a little bit about the kinds of things that you're doing now, just to start.
Sure. So previously, we were a typical managed print provider. We still remanufacture our own toner cartridges here too, majority of them. But today, the main thing we do is cybersecurity. That's the main driver in all our marketing. So we're up 25% already this year, just in cybersecurity.
That's crazy. And you did, I do remember we were speaking one time earlier when I was trying to get you on the show, and you mentioned that it's really driven most of your growth, right? So it's been that good for you.
Yeah, for sure. We try to, we call it own the customer. So, if you're doing everything, all the network services, their phones, their emails, their data, their backup, managing their PCs, the servers, the updates, patching, end user training, every piece of it. Print is almost the last thing that comes into play anymore. We just say, okay, we're going to take care of this. A lot of customers, when you own everything already, just say, okay, we're going to start taking care of all your printers now too. And actually, the last number of deals we've done, it wasn't even a proposal. It was, okay, we'll take this over now. And they're like, okay.
I love hearing that it is really an afterthought sale, right? It's kind of like, do you want fries with that? That what people are really worried about is the burger, or am I having a chicken burger or a hamburger? What am I having? And then when it comes down to the to whatever we're having with it, if it's fries or onion rings, that's not as big a decision, right?
Yeah, correct. And if you're leading with security, everybody is concerned with cybersecurity these days. That's any business you go into, they're aware of it. They either have it or they know they need it. And if you're talking to your customers and you're educating them and you're sending them regular content on that, regular tips to help keep them and their employees safe, you start talking about print security and securing those devices, which most people don't do. It's just another, of course I have to do that.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that I think that trying to sell print security as a standalone item might be kind of difficult, but when you're already 9/10 of the way there with those other security concerns that are top of mind for them, it's like, well, why wouldn't I, work on the printers too? Why would I leave that hole there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I can see Tanya's down there. She says, hi, stranger. Tanya Stone,
Tanya.
from my Great America.
One time no see.
Yeah.
I watched you the other day, though, so I was present.
Well, there you go. So she's returning the favor now. She's watching you on the episode. And good to see you, Tanya. All right, where are we here? I'm trying not to hit the wrong button because I've got something secret which is coming up, but we'll make sure we get your name back there. One of the things that have really affected those in the Office Equipment channel is those declining pages. And I got to assume that you must have experienced that as well, right? So how detrimental was that to your business because you'd already kind of established your technology practice? Or was it?
Not as much as most. We're very blessed here to live in South Dakota, and was just at a meeting last night with our with South Dakota governor, and we're the only state in the nation that never shut down. We never forced any businesses to close, never forced any mandates. Everybody could, it's at your own discretion. We have the lowest unemployment rate in the nation. More people moving in here than anywhere in the nation. So we did have some customers that volumes went down, but I had other customers that volumes went up exponentially.
Isn't that something? Wow.
Yeah, because of various COVID precautions and things like that. Organizations that have to interchange paper with customers for signatures and things like that, in large volumes of them. They're just duplicated everything.
Amazing.
Twice as much equipment, added staff, open extra, and just running everything twice because of the COVID precautions. So we were able to benefit from that.
And for any losses that you did have, was it more than made up for with the technology services?
Oh yeah, for sure. We continued to grow throughout 2020. And in fact, 2020 ended up as our highest grossing year ever.
Wow. I think that, people are probably curious about, how you got started and what kind of, things you had to do to stay on course, right? Because, obviously it didn't happen overnight. I've known you for a lot of years. So I remember you when you actually started this, right? When it was still kind of, you're having conversations at trade shows about, I'm doing this thing and I'm not sure how it's going to go yet, but here's my plans.
Yeah.
Like, Talk about that.
Yeah, I remember I was, I forget where I was going, but I remember right in the parking spot I was sitting in the airport getting ready to jump on a plane, and I called you and
Yeah.
said, okay, hey, I think I'm going to pull the trigger. And this is the approach I'm going to take. What do you think? And you just said, well, go all in. And you know me, I don't tiptoe into anything. I just fall in and try to learn how to swim after that. So
yeah, I think you already knew my answer before you called, but
I did. But yeah, it's like anything else. It's a journey. It's you can do, you know, like the 20 wasn't around then.
right.
I did become familiar with them with the TMT group I was in Nashville for quite a number of years, and they're a good group, and they can help out a lot of people. But we built ours step by step. Didn't dive in, try to take everything over. Just start providing more services, and then rolling things over to a managed services model. And we just have an escalation ladder that get them used to writing those monthly checks. You have regular MRR coming in. They just keep adding more services and more packages and climbing that ladder as you have the skill set and the staff to do it, or the partners. If you have good vendor partners that can handle that as well.
Hey, we got a comment coming in from looks like an old friend of yours, Ron McClintock. A longtime friend, James Bubba Winstead 3, hope all is well. Oh, sorry, there's James. They're actually talking to each other through the chat. That's novel.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that before. So, James, there you go. Ron, you're in good company. Oh, that's great.
You stumped me for a second. I was like, ooh, am I supposed to know this person?
I stumped myself. Usually that's someone that's going to say hi to you. So, yeah, and once you made that decision to move forward, you've obviously been pretty successful at it. What kind of advice would you have for dealers that are trepidatious, that might have actually already tried it?
Yeah, I think Johnson said it at the outset here. If you put in a printer or a copier and they don't like it, or it's not the best piece of equipment, they have a lemon, whatever, it's a lot easier to just pull it out and put something else in.
Right.
If you try to go and take over the whole network and you screw that up, you're not coming back in. They won't let you back in the door again, because you affect the entire company. The whole thing's down. So don't take over or promise services that you can't effectively deliver. You need to be able to deliver on what you're selling. And, and your reps need to know what the capabilities of your dealership are, whether they're internal resources or vendor partners, or what types of relationships you have, so that they can clearly explain that to the customer. Customers are pretty flexible, and a lot of people say, well, do you have 24/7, 365? I can, if you want to pay this price. And most people don't. There are obviously customers out there that need that, and so if you're going to go after those clients, you need to be able to have those resources available. And some don't want to call to a help desk that's outside in a different state or something, but some are just completely fine with it. So you need to understand your capabilities and understand your customers, and don't sell them things that you can't provide. You can always come back and sell them more. Sell a little, get comfortable, get a little bit more, get comfortable. That's a much better way to do it.
Yeah, I think what you say there is really important, which is, and especially because it is something new that you're doing, that oftentimes people will try and fluff up their feathers and sound like they're bigger and more experienced than they are. And what you're really saying is, nope, here's our capabilities, here's what we can do, so we can't do those, but maybe we'll talk about that down the road, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm constantly bringing new vendors on. I drive my CIO staff crazy, but we're bringing vendors on. Every couple of months we bring a new something on, and but we usually use it we always use it internally for maybe a month, maybe 3 or 6 months before we actually start rolling that out to the customers, so that we are all intimately aware. Now, when you go install that or convert that over, your techs are just ready to go because they're used to using it. Yeah.
Hey, Johnson actually put in a comment for us. He can't comment because he's one of our guests and sponsors, but I can read it, which is, he who owns the land wins. So what's your experience been like with that? Once you have customers that are doing these services and everything else, is it fairly sticky? Does it add some stickiness to your contracts?
Yeah, a lot of times you start out, it's just like the office equipment space. You go in, you put in a machine or a managed print contract, but you don't own every piece of printing output device that's in there. There may be 2 or 3 providers. It's the same thing with this. You're going to take over some things, but once you think about email and email filtering services and malware and ransomware protection and backup, and different types of industries do different types of backups, and then all the other network services. Take the regular network managing all the assets there. Firewalls to switches to PCs to servers, they all have different things and different needs. You don't have to take them all over at once. A lot of times we'll take over we call it our managed security service. We bring in a managed firewall, all the managed access points, and all the endpoint protection. We're not doing anything but securing the perimeter. And we get them comfortable with that, and we get it all tuned in, and then we start adding more services, taking care of end user training, dark web scanning, PC and server patching and updates, and then start taking care of the end users of the mobile devices, and then the phones and the printers, and it just keeps adding up. And in that model, whether it's a QBR or a PBR or whatever acronym we want to use today, an MBR, if you got a crazy messy client that sometimes some of those bigger ones you need to meet with every month as you're onboarding, or even every couple of weeks, and you're always finding more things that they need or they're getting from someone else, and let's just bring it over to us. Even if it's not that high a margin stuff, email, you don't have much margin, but if you own it and everything else, gets it real hard for them to leave.
I think it's really important, though, what you're saying is that, you can start small and then, start overtaking the place once you're there, right? It's kind of a neat embedded strategy. It's like, well, you got to at least get on the table. You got to at least get some services in there where they can learn to trust and respect you before you start asking for other things. And those Pabst Blue Ribbons moments, if it's quarterly or monthly, that, to use those to get those additional services, right?
Yeah, exactly. And there's, with the tool sets that are out there, there's an absolute wealth of reporting that you can set up and automate, that they just go to the customer and you just review it with them every once in a while. And especially if you're not doing some things for them. Hey, here's all the holes. Here's the status of all your machine. All your servers need to be updated. They're going to go down soon because you don't have anybody managing them, or the other company's not doing a good job. So there's 100 other things that I could mention, but there's no end of things that you can provide, the services that you can provide to your clients.
No, there is no end to that, right? And if you had one piece of advice, I guess, that you would give to people that might be watching today to get started, what do you think you'd tell them? What would you say? Here's the one thing you need to do.
For me personally, I feel it's critical to have a CIO type position, whether you call it a CIO or anything else, but somebody that even if they're not handling all the day-to-day work, they're understanding everything, and they're the quarterback between your vendors, techs, things of that nature, and helping you vet new products and services and vendors that are coming on. Understanding those vendors that are really going to help you and help your customer versus the ones that say, oh yeah, we're doing all this, and then when you dig in, they really only doing about 20 or 30 or 40% of what you actually need. So
you need partners. You need those partners who are doing exactly what you said earlier, which is over deliver, right? Make sure that you're under promising, get them that stuff, right?
Yep, exactly. In anything network related or computer related these days, with all the cybersecurity stuff, ransomware, all that, you can be left vulnerable and open to lawsuits if you don't have things in order. You need to. In fact, I'm in the process. I sent over to my attorney yesterday, updating our paperwork just to make sure that we're clearly spelling out in every agreement exactly what we're doing and exactly what we're not doing. So if you want to hire us only for this, that's fine, but you're going to sign off that anything outside of there, you understand that we're not liable for that because you won't let us take care of it.
Right. That's you're letting us know that that's not our responsibility.
Correct.
Yeah. It's interesting, and I think with all of the security stuff that we've seen in the news lately, that obviously the legal side of that obviously must have to be more structured, probably than it ever has been before, right? So, hey, Ken, I'm going to let you back in. Hey, look, there he is.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here.
You're going to need to take the weekend to get your dizziness gone from West bouncing in and out here for the last 2 weeks.
So
Exactly.
Jeff, just I'm going to need your help here. Go ahead, Ken.
Okay.
No, that's all right. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't know if you can see in the private chat there, but I put a number, and I want to make sure that you can see that. So what's going to happen now, for everyone that's online, I'm going to bring Johnson back in as well. See if we can get 4 in here. And Johnson, can you see that number in there as well? I don't want you to say it. Just I want to let everyone know that what we're about to do is going to be completely fair and unbiased.
Okay. Yep, I see it.
Okay, good. All right. And the winner is, so everyone should remember that we promised that on the last day of the challenge, we were going to give away $250 to one lucky participant. The only thing is that you had to be here and you had to be registered, right? So if you can, in the comment section, if you're a registered attendee, and Ken can check that in the background, so don't submit otherwise. In the comment section, I'm thinking of a magic number between 1 and 20, just like the 20. See how I did that, Johnson? I chose the 20 as the end mark there for you. So the first person to correctly guess the magic number that is in my head, and actually in the private chat section, please post that in the comments. So start choosing your numbers now. And it's funny, I love these things, right? Numbers are absolutely fantastic. I am curious to see when we get the right person there. All right. Well,
We have a winner.
okay. We have a winner already? I only see one. Let me catch up. Oh, boy. Okay, I'm going to move through these. Wow, they're coming in fast and furious now.
Look up at the top.
Yeah, I'm going to look. I'm going to go through and apologize to everybody. Those really came in. It's like I thought nobody was responding with comments, and everybody's responding with comments. So just let me make sure I have it right. I don't want to mess this up. Checking the time at 2:41 p.m. Is that the one you're looking at, Ken?
That's what I'm looking at.
All right. And congratulations to Linda Painter. All right. Round of applause.
From Canada.
Yeah, look at that, eh? Oh, man, I think we just saved some money, Ken. Canadian dollars. Oh, boy. Well, congratulations, Linda, and thank you very much for joining us on the challenge, and thanks to everybody who's joined us on the challenge. What I want to say now, obviously, is that, obviously it's not just $250 that's at stake here. That's not why we did the challenge. The reason that we did the challenge was because the world is changing and we need to change with it. And as you're going through this journey, if you choose to do it on your own, or if you like to kind of do that with us, you can do that. And if you look on the screen here now, you can see that obviously we do more. So Flat Rate Certified is a program that's available to everyone that's done the challenge. And what we do with dealers is work with them on 8 to 12 week mentorship programs. Ken and I are Sherpas. We work with people to touch every aspect of their business to make sure that the considerations and the elements are there to be able to be successful at this. For those that are already down the road, we can help you review your program and give some advice on those different areas, because we've touched so many dealers with this program already. The other thing that you'll get, if it's just us taking you through the 12-week program, we're helping do the program review, that you'll get a listing on flatrate.world and use of the logo. So I know that these things are really useful for customers going over time. So certainly encourage you that if you want to, reach out to us. I know that a bunch of people already have, that you can actually, I think, just let me go into the private chat here and get the link for that.
And there is a button for everybody that's watching it on the Flat Rate Challenge website. There is a button down there that says book a call. So you can click that and it will book a call with us. It'll take you to the page where you can book a call, I should say. Because what that lets you do is see the program.
Wow. So I still have numbers coming through. I'm not sure why, but but just so everybody knows, there we go. Let's see what Linda has to say. The 10-day challenge rocks. Well, thank you very much for that, Linda. And for everyone that's watching this, as we talked about, live streams aren't just live. It's not like a webinar. You are going to be seeing, this on YouTube and on LinkedIn forever. So if you do see us on LinkedIn or on YouTube or on Facebook, and you want to learn more and get registered for the challenge, we'd certainly love to have you. And again, we couldn't do this. It wouldn't have been nearly as interesting with just Ken and I. We're so blessed to have guests. I'm going to bring Jeff and Johnson back in.
Yeah, I have a question for Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay, so Johnson, as the 20, do you guys offer a virtual CIO service?
So I'd say a couple things. Every copier dealer needs at least one on-site tech, right? So you got to have at least one. So if you're looking to get in the IT business, that's what I would recommend, at least one. From a virtual CIO service, yes, we do. If customers need something like that, we can offer that as well. Yes.
Got to have some skin on the table, right?
No,
and hey, listen,
absolutely.
I just want to thank you. We could not have done this challenge again without our sponsors and guests. Jeff, you've always stepped up to the plate when I needed somebody, if it's been on a podcast or something like this. So thank you very much for giving your time. You are the owner of your business. I know it's difficult and you have other things to do. So I really, from bottom of my heart, appreciate your help. And Johnson, for stepping in and sponsoring this, because as we mentioned, this 10-day challenge, we wanted so badly to make sure that dealers could access it without any charge, to get this learning, to be able to start on their flat rate journey. And without folks like you, we couldn't have done it. So thank you very much.
You betcha. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Wow. I just feel so blessed and a little humbled, Ken. We're kind of at the end of the road here now, and at least for the 10-day challenge. And it's been an absolute pleasure working with you on this and helping dealers with you on this. And I can't wait until we can start doing more of this with our dealer friends as well.
Oh, I am so looking forward to the flat rate world. Like I said, I think that it's going to be fun doing this every week. We don't have to have quite as much structure and may not be a full hour, but we'll have some guests. We'll do some interviews. That's going to be a lot of fun. And I wish that all of the dealers, whether you choose to go flat rate or not, whether you work with us or not, we wish you all the best and the greatest possible success, because we care about that for our vendor, or I should say our dealer friends.
Yeah, we do. And, that's, again, one of the reasons that we're doing this for free for the dealers, is that we do really care about this industry. And as you're thinking about it, raising tides, raise all ships. So if you've got other dealer friends that you want to work with, that you want to speak with and get some inspiration from, reach out to them too. So until next time, everybody, again, can't thank you enough for joining in the 10-day flat rate challenge. I'm not even sure how to end it. I'm at a loss. So I guess maybe I'll end it with, we will see you down the flat rate road.
Or we'll see you in the flat rate world.